Hi everyone, happy November. I hope you are doing well. I thought that I would make this intro video while I'm shuffling for the next reading. I want to explain something. First and foremost, I want to thank you from beyond my life, honestly, beyond my soul. I am beyond grateful for all of the amazing emails, all of the well wishes, all of the positive energies. What you don't even realize that you did was, and I can't be more grateful. I don't do well with modern medicine. I don't, and it's terrifying because I'm always the one that, they'll say, oh, well, in general. I'm always that one that I'm always the in general that doesn't fit into that. So anything that works for someone else most likely will not work for me. So it's always terrifying, especially with having to deal with this, because I'm like the one that nothing works for. But the one thing that had worked for me, like I said, for 30 years, and people were always amazed, including doctors, that I really didn't come out of remission a lot. And when it did, I could snap it back in. It was never like this. And I knew going into this, when it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse, that something, might really happen here. It was a little terrifying. So I'm glad to say, though, that the minute that I decided to put that out there, I really did feel things switch. So you have no idea how much you absolutely helped me, and I could not be more grateful. So thank you for that. And thank you also for all of the emails with recommendations. Herbal things, again, without you guys even realizing it, that's the route I go, because those things work for me. Modern medicine doesn't, but all of those suggestions that you got, and I noticed that most of you said, I hope I'm not overstepping, and I get that, because I'm always the one busting through someone's, space. So don't ever think, when you've got something to offer someone, always follow through with that, because that's how we learn things. That's how we get ideas. That's how, when someone sends me something, I'll test drive it and I'll share it with someone else. So always do that. For some of you, if you're looking and you think you're sitting on nothing, sometimes you'll see a reading come through and it's like, oh, well, I don't have any gifts. Those are gifts. Those are beyond gifts, because those change people's lives. And I'll tell you that. I can tell you that just by what I've received here. So there you go. Okay. Secondly, I want to point out how I'm doing the readings for this month. All right. As you know, if you're following my channel, you know my readings are a little bit different. They're a little bit more deep. My goal, because that is what my lifetime is about, is empowering you to go and empower your life. So I can't give you a little reading. I need to give you a what's underneath it, so that when you come up against it, it helps you. You know why something's happening. It makes the shifts a little bit easier. Okay, so what I'm doing this time is that, and this is the first time also ever that I've done readings over, because they were so not sitting with me. And then I would get a lot of messages afterward, just that it was right. It wasn't, it shouldn't go that way. And I just was getting like a fog was coming over me when I was doing the reading, and I did too. And it was just like, no, it's not right. And I stopped and I meditated on it, and no, I shouldn't have pulled the trigger on those, and I didn't. What I'm doing here is I'm going down. I'm getting underneath what these changes that you'll be experiencing are for. Okay, they're larger, they're big, they're going to be, being reborn is such a cliche, but it's like you're going to be present with this one. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to come into this life like the new baby. You're going to come into the life with what you've acquired until now, good, bad, and indifferent. And you're going to step into your life, right? And you're going to do it in a way that could be terrifying. But what I want you to know is that relationships on all fronts, that's you and someone else. I don't care if it's your animal or whoever it is, right? It's not just one-on-one relationships. So please don't cap out on that. You're the other half of any equation in your life, okay? But some relationships are going to end. Some have taught you things, but now you go on to something else. Some jobs, some careers, some talents, some things you want to do, some things you want to eat, some things you don't want to eat, the way you want to look, how you want to how you want to step into yourself, how you trust your intuition, how you trust yourself. Your life is changing for each of you in a different way. You're dissolving something and you're evolving something. That's why the readings that I'm doing is dissolve, evolve, and what are my blessings in here, right? And remember, blessings can sometimes come in a holy crap that really hurt. Those are blessings too, okay? But what we're dissolving, where we're evolving. Okay, so that's how I'm going down into this reading. So you're going to realize when you come up against these things, which are probably going to be big game changers. I feel like karma's being paid off here. I feel like health issues are being leveled out in whatever way that is. I think that relationships, how we stand up, how we show up, the things we put our hands on, what we really want to do is changing. But it's changing at a holy crap instant level. Some of the things, right? Some of the things can be a little bit of a shock and an awe, right? Things like that. I know that people are saying, and I'm not pulling on Uranus in here, I'm just pointing this out, that I've noticed that Uranus is not, people are rah-rahing it. It's a liberation planet, and it is, but it usually comes in the form of like a lightning strike to your ass is what it comes, and it comes like in a blink of an eye. So it's a little terrifying, and I know that it's in a lot of these things, but I'm pulling here for you guys, okay, and how things are going to transpire. So when these things come along, or when a relationship is really just, it's toxic, it's not able to be mended, you're just not going to see eye to eye on things, it makes this a little bit easier to face that, right? Realizing that you're dissolving things and you're evolving with things. But my intention for this type of reading is to get under what you'll be experiencing starting this month, right? So use the other tarot readers that you're dealing with or that you're watching. Use those as well, how this will apply to me, but this will be like the master plan, right? As to why those things are happening. And then in December, I'll go back to the normal. I'll hit it as a normal reading, but I want you to have this blueprint as to how things, take what works for you and don't, and leave the rest. My suggestion for this month, okay, is to look at your rising sign first, because that to me is why you chose to be in this life now. Okay, then your sun and your moon and whatever else you choose to look at. Okay, however this fits for you, but for my readings, because I'm pulling on why is this person here? What is their intent in this life, right? Why did they choose to come here? Those were what I asked to be seen. Okay, so for this month, for me, for this channel, and for us, just please use your rising sign. Okay, so there you go. I hope this was short enough. I know you guys hate it, but again, I cannot ever thank you enough for what you did, and I'm beyond grateful. So there you go. Hi Virgo, happy November. I hope you're doing well. Okay, your reading I thought started out to be pretty much like the other half of the equation. The Leo reading, watch the Leo reading. It was a tough one, and it kind of it stuck with me for a bit after I did that reading. And it was a lot about past life, kind of, either having things handed to them, or I think your story, when I read for people in private readings and they're like a Leo Virgo cusp, it's a tough placement to be. It's a really tough spot to be, because it's like having your one foot in the world of, what do you mean it's not about me? And the other world, the other foot is in having to take care of other people, right? And it's like, it's a tough placement. A lot of people with that placement end up really finding crutches in life, because it's a really tough place to be. Who are you in that? It's a whirlwind. And I think that your reading it might have something to do with that in some regard, but I think your reading is much more liberating. And I have to say, I don't find it that much different from, I'm going to give you the behind the scenes kind of thing here, where you can really establish some really great relationships in your life of all kinds, with your kids, with your colleagues, with your partners. It may clear up some partnership relationship issues too, and some things like that. I think the behind the scenes thing with you is that, and it's funny because there's controversy over what the Virgo archetype really is, what the sixth house kind of deal is. And it's Some people think, I personally think it's the house of dis-ease, because it's just, dis-ease is temporary. It's just saying something isn't right. We need to tweak something in here, right? That's all it is. And other people call it the house of works. But what it is it's the house of works, because you now are in this lifetime kind of providing, it's kind of payback time. It's you're paying back for a past life of either being catered to, not having to do much, things kind of just fell into your lap, or you came from a very established, affluential, whatever your life was about, but it was not much of having to do much. It was more about everyone catered to you more just because of who you were. So maybe you came from a very affluential family. Maybe you were royalty and you ruled a kingdom somewhere, or you were a king and queen somewhere. It was something, it was a life of affluence, right? Or it was, a life where, you couldn't take care of yourself. Someone had to take care of you. And that's kind of where the Virgo Leo bridge would come in, because there was a lot over there about, physical ailments, like maybe, you were physically ill in your last life and you had to have caregivers, and now it's your time to pay back. But I think for you, how it shows up here for you is, and I've got messages too, and this is exactly why I'm doing these readings, because I want you to get the blessings that are coming to you in your life, right? And everybody's going to be different. If this doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. And please, don't take anything here as personal criticism. Take these as, okay, that's why I do this, right? When we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, we can fix it, correct it, and put an end to the madness, right? So for you, it's around friendships, but I think that you're being asked to really step into, you're going to kind of like, I'm the one person and everyone else is voting for this person, and I'm going to vote for this person, or I'm going to push this platform, even if I've got to do it by myself. I don't care if these people don't like me, don't support me. I need to do this because it's important to me. There's something going to come your way where you're kind of going to have to stand on your own 2 feet and really not really care that people aren't backing you. You're going to have to be like the lone wolf that stands up for something here. It could be someone or something too, but you're being told to not be submissive here. This is a time where you're really going to need to trust, jump, because the universe has been trying to tell you something, literally like tapping you on the shoulder, and you're not either hearing it, you're choosing to not hear it, you don't want to hear it, or you don't want to have to deal with it. But there is someone coming in your path that you may need to either support solo, or it's someone, though, that's going to enhance your life in some way. And the other big message for here that I've not gotten in the other readings is that this is going to put you in the limelight. It's going to put you in the limelight that you've wanted. It's just going to be the opposite of how you've gone about it. It's kind of like you're going to see that not strongholding, and I know I use that word a lot, but what I mean is not in the natural organic way of things, not letting things flow, trying to control things, because when we feel like our life is out of control, we try to clench onto things. We try to really orchestrate things, people, family members, friends, animals, everything, right, into doing things the way that we want. But we really don't have any more control over it. We've kind of just, suffocated and crushed and killed and, made our partners out of wood and everything else. But we've got the pretty manicured lawn, right? We look pretty on the outside, but on the inside, we're still looking for the validation. Organically is the key here, not strongholding it to occur for you, right? But when we know why we do these things, we can fix it, all right? Now, someone's coming into your sphere here, people, opportunities, relationships, partnerships, but you're going to also step into something career-wise, I feel, and I think that there's something around your finances too. So this may do something where it bumps those up a bit here. It's just a restructure of how I think things flow to you. I think things organically flow to you, that you've been the one blocking all of these blessings from coming to you, but now it frees up. And I can see it in the cards too. So again, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your messages. There's things going to come through your dreams, and you may not figure out exactly what it is, but write it down. Try to keep a mental picture of it, because something is presenting itself here to you. I'm just not quite sure in what way this will be. I think it comes in the form really of someone, like you've got to be like the lone wolf that stands up for this cause or this person or something, but it's not going to be a comfortable situation, but you're going to sacrifice maybe some, it might be some sacrifice of some kind of ego thing where you now need to take one for the team. Like you really need to go to bat for either your partner or a cause, something. So take that for what it is. But you're being told to really, you're kind of like being the independent wolf here, going for the cause that's going to give you the, I'm now back on the throne, so to speak, in a healthy way, right? And I'm now going to receive all of these things that I've wanted, but that I've been trying to pull in and create on my own and orchestrate on my own, but they've not been fulfilling. You're going to get the fulfilling part now in proper relationships, in ones that really value you, right? I think you've got a lot of people around you in your life, but I think, in all honesty and no disrespect, I don't think they really care for you. You know what I mean? I think they wouldn't really go to the mat for you, basically, right? And I think that you realize this, and that's a horrible thing, right? But I can tell you that the ticket to ride here, and a lot of this stems from the past. You know what I mean? It's when we think that, I'm just using this word royalty because we can all relate to that, right? From storybooks and all of this, and the Cinderella kind of thing, and all of the fairy tales that really, they leave out missing chapters of how the loveliness really goes. But I think for you, what's coming in here is, it's kind of the scenario where people can sometimes step into roles where, and I'm just saying for reasons, maybe they don't know why they did it, but they're still seeking for the recognition that they think is owed them in firefighters, police, doctors, lawyers, people that they put themselves or align themselves in positions that people now need them. You know what I mean? So it's, yes, the people need you, but they need you because they need you for something they're trying to do. They don't need you because they adore you or they want to be around you. So it's, you know what I'm saying? You align yourself in ways that you can get what you're really wanting, just not where you're at. So that's what I'm saying here. Now, it's dissolving here is the Strength card. And I'll tell you this, and it's funny because, like I say, the Strength card belongs to Leo. So it's how am I, again, it's strength, force, power. How are you using it and how are you not using it, right? In a productive manner. What do you mean it's not about me? That's what you're dissolving, right? And I think it's through expression. I think it's through, a lot of time with this archetype too, people will have very estranged relationships with their children or with their partners or with their spouses, or they'll have a lot of extramarital affairs, or they're looking for something, but they've kind of created relationships around them where when the people get a chance, they can't wait to get away. You know what I mean? Like children that have been, and again, no disrespect, I'm just pointing this out because I do see it often. I see it often enough to know that it's a common thread that, the children and spouses as well, anyone kind of in your sphere, right? They have to look this way, act this way, do this. What happens with children is a lot of the animosity comes in because they've been sucked dry. They now don't know what lights them on fire. They don't know what their passions are. They don't know what the freedom to go explore is because they've been kind of strong-held into a position instead of, protected, nourished, nurtured. They've been put in a, it can go one of two ways. It's someone can follow that lead and create a nightmare for themselves. I've seen this happen too, where people will now get married and they'll have children and they'll think that it'll save them from what they've been missing, when in fact they're just creating the pattern. Or I see instances where now the parents got a 30-year-old at home still because they don't know how to survive in the real world. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the situations can create things like this. So I think what you're trying to dissolve is how you express yourself with people, how you organically let things go. How do you let people love you? You know what I mean? Do you let people love you how they want to love you, or do you make them love you the way that you think you want to? You know what I'm saying? I think that's the mismatch in, I think, relationship kind of dynamics in here. Okay, but where I think here where you're dealing with, I think that this is what where you're evolving. And I think that this is just a blow to the ego. I think it's just a realization of, wow, this doesn't work for me. I'm going to try something different. And you do, because I know you're stepping right into something here that's going to show you this. It's going to open the door for you. And if you remember this reading and you put yourself in check and you are in it to be in it, not in it to attain something, just be in it to be in it, not be in it for recognition or you know, anything like that. I think it could come in with something that has to do, I feel, in your career spectrum or something with people. Okay. Now where the blessings come in. So it's just, these are really great cards. What you're dissolving here and where you're going. Look, the Tower, I mean, the Strength card is looking right at the Tower. It's like, we've got to get our crap together. We've got to do things in a way that is getting us where we need to go. You know what I mean? We need to do things in a, and it's not that you're intentionally not doing this, but you're expressing yourself with people in a way that's not authentic. And I think that you've got a lot of superficial relationships around you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised that people will come your way and they'll do things for you and you'll be really happy if you're in a place where you're organically doing things because you want to do them. And it's for other people. And in return, you really do get authentic relationships. You really do get people that adore you and want to be around you. And those are the relationships that you want. Okay? So I think that we come in here. Here's your blessings. Okay? We come in with the Hanged Man. And again, this is just, again, it's like a change in perspective. It's, I'm going to do things different. I'm going to look at things different. I'm going to have a different life. You know, I'm going to step into my own here. The Hangman is kind of like, it is a karmic card. It's like a, what is going to propel me forward here? And I'm going to need to change. I think all of this is internal work. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at once you release this, you're going to start to find relationships that are aligning with you, and they're proper in the way that you don't need to do anything but just be yourself. And I think that you're going to realize that you're aligning now with people who really do have your back. And I think what this does too is I think it kind of gives you confidence to take steps now that you may have not thought you could before, that you were a little self-conscious about. I think it gets you through that 11th hour and you start to do things in a more internal kind of way that shows up in real depth on the outside. Okay. Now I think here what you're establishing is, I think you're really just letting relationships go and just, you're not possessing them. They're just coming in for you. You're establishing a new way of relating to people. And that's what I think that this is. It's not possession. It's trust that they're not going to go anywhere and that they're the right people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're establishing, is a trust. It's a trust. Okay. And I think that, again, it's how you relate to people. The Lover's card, long-term sustainable relationships. Right? Ones that are built on common ground. I think it's amazing. And I think that this is not just relationships with one person. I think in here, I think what you're doing is, I think where you're dissolving things and how it's how you relate to yourself and to people. And that's what I think you're doing. So this is all internal work that is going to show up for you monetary wise. It's going to show up for you in great relationships. You're going to notice maybe that you have reestablished relationships with your children. They're not so, you know, tumultuous perhaps. Things like that. And again, you've got the Devil card on the outbound. And I just want you to see something. You're rising above. Look at what you're doing. You're rising above how things were. You're not trying to really monopolize things. You're not trying to put band-aids over things to not address them. You're going to feel them, right? You're going to deal with them, and you're going to let them fall away. You're going to change your perspective on how you're doing things. And I think what happens here is you pull in relationships now that you don't mind taking care of someone. They're balanced relationships. It's I give you and you give me. It's not so much you trying to orchestrate your life because you don't have enough confidence in yourself to think that you can get it on your own merit, and you can. It's just you be you, and let people be themselves. Let people be themselves. Give them that time and that space to be themselves, to be their organic self, and you be your organic self. And that's what I think is happening here. I think it's releasing, you know, sometimes too, I feel that it's created kind of like, sometimes it's a pattern where we create like situations where people will now try to sympathize with us. I think that these are the things that you're getting away from. I think that too, one of your message was that when you stop expecting false flattery, approvals from everyone else, I think that you really, it's an organic kind of way with you. And I think that it opens a door where you do these things now for people because your heart's in it. You're not looking to get something. And the fulfillment that you've been looking for comes in this. And usually in life, we're going the opposite way where we should be going. Instinctually, we think, all right, if we want people to be in our lives, we need to, you know, pull them into our lives. And then, well, I don't know. This isn't exactly what I want. You know, could you shave your head, or could you wear this, or could you say these words, or could you eat these? We try to critique things, but in fact, it's the opposite way where everyone and everything that's waiting for us is waiting. But your message coming in was you've got something in the wing, and the universe has been trying to get a hold of you, but you're not listening. And I think it might not be packaged in the way that you want it to be, but it's your golden goose. So listen, okay? That's what I got for you. I think you've got, again, some blessings coming in, and I think that you're really being asked to step into your power here. Not step into your power, not brute force. Let things organically come. You notice how you've got control over everything here. Control is, and strength is quiet. It's not like a banshee person trying to create everything for themselves. It's a quiet, everything just falls into place. Like that snow globe, when you sit it down, that's what your life is doing. It's falling into place here. So that's what I've got for you. I think it's great. Please don't take any offense to this. It may not even relate to you, but I think that it has a lot to do with you getting everything that you've asked for, and not people made of wood. I think you get organic people that really offer you things that you didn't even realize that you wanted. And that's what I think is great. So there you go. I hope that I helped you in some way.